I don't know. Maybe Daniel afraid me. I don't know. It just show for me.
Yeah.
People have labelled him and called him a quitter. They seen what happened in the Joyce fight. Even against you, he finished the fight on his knee. Does he have a weakness?
Little bit, yes. Little bit, yes, because maybe it's a younger guy. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but Daniel.
Oleksandr Usyk isn't hinting anymore. He's declaring it with absolute certainty. There's no gray area in his tone, no room for interpretation. In Usyk's mind, Daniel Dubois won't just lose again, he'll quit. Plain and simple. Not might, not maybe, but will. That same hesitation, that same crack in character Usyk exposed the first time around, he believes it's still lingering deep within Dubois. Usyk doesn't have to guess. He's seen it before, and he's betting everything that he'll see it again.
He's a better fighter now than he was the first time you fought?
Maybe, yeah, maybe, because a lot of years, 2, 3, yeah. Now I think Daniel grow.
And do you think
like a boxer, like a man?
Yeah. Does he deserve this opportunity, or is there someone else more deserving? Joe Parker maybe, or does Daniel deserve his shot?
Yeah, I think Daniel deserve, because Daniel from UK. It's interesting for.
Plans to drag Dubois back into the same deep waters, force him to relive the same collapse, and break him once more. Because to Usyk, this isn't just about boxing. This is psychological warfare. It's not about who punches harder or who trained longer. It's about who can withstand the heat when the ring turns into a furnace. And in that respect, Usyk believes Dubois already failed the test.
Does he deserve this opportunity, or is there someone else more deserving? Joe Parker maybe, or does Daniel deserve his shot?
Yeah, I think Daniel deserve, because Daniel from UK. It's interesting for.
Once you take a knee under pressure, in Usyk's world, it's not just a moment, it's a sentence that marks you as unworthy to share a ring with the elite. Usyk stares straight into the camera, unblinking, and says what the entire boxing world is thinking, but afraid to admit out loud. This isn't trash talk, it's surgical dissection. Cold, calculated, clinical. He's not trying to rattle Dubois, he's already done that. He's sending a message, one meant for those who understand the difference between surviving and surrendering. Usyk isn't predicting that Dubois
is, clever, smart, but, a dangerous destruction. That's my style, and I can't wait to put it on him. I just can't wait, really, yeah.
Dubois might falter again. He's affirming it. When pressure starts to mount and the rhythm breaks, Usyk believes Dubois will take the same route he did last time, the easy way out. In response, Dubois tries to hit back with bold talk about destruction and revenge, but it doesn't land the way he wants it to. Let's be honest, it doesn't sound like confidence, it sounds like damage control. His words carry more fear than fury. You can hear the strain in his tone, the desperation of a man trying to convince himself as much as the world.
Usyk, he has the ability to think in the ring. Daniel has the ability to remember in the ring. And if you can think in the ring, it means you can change the direction of a fight.
Usyk's cold assessment has clearly rattled him. He's reaching for intensity, but it sounds more like a bluff. Buzzwords won't save him when the bell rings. Not against a man who's already dismantled him once and knows exactly how to do it again. So who are you backing in this war of resolve? Drop your predictions in the comments. Johnny Nelson, a voice of reason and experience, says it without dressing it up. Usyk thinks, Dubois reacts. That, he says, is the chasm that separates champions from
hard enough. He'll come across a completely different skill set than Oleksandr Usyk. You got to remember he's been in there with him already, and we all know what happened last time.
Yes, true.
I don't want to hear this stuff about low blows. It's called a protector for a reason. If you hit a protector, guess what?
Tenders. In the thick of battle, when instinct takes over and the brain fog sets in, Dubois remembers pain. He hesitates. Usyk recalculates, adjusts, and attacks with a plan. That's the difference. And no amount of gym work or bravado can erase it. Nelson sees improvement in Dubois. More patience, sharper shots, perhaps.
Would I rather fight right now? Usyk. Because I want me revenge in England. That's all I want. I want a fair shout. And I don't believe I've got a fair shout the last 2 times. So
the better engine. But against Usyk, that growth isn't enough. Not when you're fighting a ring genius. Enter Tony Bellew, who has zero time for excuses or revisionist history. Bellew addresses the elephant in the room, the infamous body shot. According to Bellew, it was legal, clean, and undeniable. Dubois going down wasn't about controversy. It was about capitulation. No tricks, no foul play, just a moment of truth that played out on the world stage. Dubois had his shot, and when the pressure surged, he crumbled. Bellew doesn't mince words. Usyk doesn't cheat. He dominates. The first fight wasn't stolen. It was seized, and a rematch won't change that. If anything, it might just reinforce it. And then comes Tyson Fury. Even in his typical bluster, there's an edge of uncertainty in his voice when he talks about Dubois. It's not the full-throated support you'd expect from the self-proclaimed Gypsy King. His advice to Dubois is simple: do your best. But let's be honest, do your best doesn't scream confidence. I
feel like Usyk will be too much for him in terms of fitness, movement, angles, just the way that he can break someone down. I've seen that in the fights that he's had off the top.
Sounds more like a consolation message than a call to arms. Fury acknowledges that Dubois did hurt Usyk in their first encounter, but he knows hoping for lightning to strike twice isn't a strategy, it's a prayer. His tone speaks volumes. He's not betting on Dubois to win. He's hoping he can just survive. Joseph Parker adds his own layer of grim realism. He shared a ring with elite heavyweights. He's seen Usyk up close and understands the level he operates on. Parker doesn't talk in hopeful maybes, he talks in calculated certainties. Usyk, in his eyes, doesn't just win with skill, he breaks opponents down systematically, round by round, mentally, physically, emotionally. It's not brute force, it's brilliance. Parker pinpoints the issue. Dubois lacks adaptability. That's not a slight. It's a crucial flaw. Usyk doesn't meet fire with fire. He meets it with water, dousing every threat before it even ignites. Dubois may throw bombs, but Usyk won't be there when they land. By the time Dubois realizes what's happening, it will already be too late. Parker...
Who do you see as the more dangerous opponent, though? Usyk or Dubois?
I believe Usyk. I believe Usyk is a great fighter. Dubois is a changed fighter from his first fight. But then this is why we had the rematch, to see whether Dubois can overcome what he got stopped with a jab. And he did. A lot of people also questioning the body shot. I think
doesn't hold back. He highlights the brutal jab that exposed Dubois to the world, a jab that led to a stoppage. That's not just a knockdown. That's a scar on your resume. Parker gives Dubois credit for his progress, but it's backhanded. Growth, yes. Enough to topple Usyk? Not even close. He says what many are thinking, but few will say aloud. When a man gets stopped by a jab and then folds again under Usyk's angles, it reveals a deep truth. You don't beat someone like Usyk with size or power, you beat him with something deeper, something Dubois, even in his improved state, doesn't fully possess. Then there's Duke McKenzie, who brings a surgical perspective to the conversation. McKenzie believes that no matter what Dubois brings, Usyk will always have an answer, and that's what separates the good from the great. Usyk doesn't rely on what he did last time, he evolves. Constantly. The problem isn't Dubois 2.0, it's that Usyk has likely already downloaded and dismantled that version in his head. McKenzie makes a devastating point. The playing field isn't level, and it never will be. I
think that what Dubois' team are clearly overlooking is the fact that if Dubois raises his game, then Usyk will raise his game. Usyk isn't shot, he's not over the hill. He's got plenty of miles left on the clock, I believe. And I think if whatever Daniel Dubois brings to this fight, Usyk...
Dubois' very best. He doesn't catch up to Usyk's worst. That's not disrespect. That's the reality of fighting a man whose every move is calculated, practiced, perfected. McKenzie doesn't just doubt Dubois, he rules him out. He says even at peak form, he wouldn't pick him to win. That's the most brutal compliment you can give a fighter. He acknowledges the effort, the improvement, even the heart, but says it won't matter. Because Usyk has seen better, faced tougher, and outclassed more dangerous men. He's not aging out, he's not plateauing, he's getting better. And that's the worst news for Dubois and his camp. They're preparing for a rematch. Usyk's preparing for a masterclass. And now comes the voice of authority, Floyd Mayweather Jr. When Mayweather speaks about a fighter, the world listens. He's the epitome of boxing IQ, the blueprint for greatness. And when Floyd praises Usyk, it's not for show. He means every word. He calls Usyk a hell of a fighter.
If he was fighting anybody else other than Oleksandr Usyk, I would pick him to win. But what they're
You think
convinced.
he is number 2 heavyweight in the world right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that should send chills through anyone thinking of stepping into the ring with him. Mayweather recognizes what casual fans miss. Usyk is the total package. He's not just winning, he's schooling his opponents. A master technician with endless stamina, a brilliant mind, and the discipline of a samurai. Mayweather sees a fellow artist in Usyk, someone who doesn't rely on flash but lets his skill do the talking. There's no hype, no antics, just levels. And he sees in Dubois the opposite. A heavy hitter, yes. A real threat maybe, but not equipped to handle what Usyk brings. You can't hope to outbrawl a man who's playing chess while you're swinging hammers. When Mayweather endorses you, that's not casual praise. That's royalty recognizing royalty. And in that light, Dubois starts to look like just another challenger in line, outmatched before the first bell. Then comes Adam Smith, the voice of British boxing, and he doesn't hold back. Smith calls Usyk the best of this generation. Let that land. Not just a champion, not just an elite technician, the best of his era. From cleaning out the cruiserweight division with frightening ease to stepping up to heavyweight and making elite fighters look amateurish.
It's going to be hard to beat him. It's going to be hard to beat Usyk because he's sassy and he outpunched.
Usyk has rewritten the rules. He didn't just beat Anthony Joshua, he dismantled him twice, made it look routine, and now Smith places him at the pinnacle of modern boxing. This isn't just praise, it's legacy. When the historians look back on this era, Smith believes Usyk's name will be etched in gold. And now Dubois, for all his muscle and promise, is simply the next page in that story. Smith doesn't say Dubois can't win, but it's clear he doesn't believe he will, because men like Usyk don't lose to power alone. They dissect, dominate, and leave no doubt. But there's one last flicker of hope, and his name is Dave Allen. He backs Dubois, or at least he tries to. Allen calls him dangerous, says he might bring chaos, but even as he talks, there's hesitation. Allen deep down knows what everyone else does. Danger isn't enough. Not here. Not now. Usyk isn't a man you catch with wild punches. You don't overwhelm him. You outthink him, and that's the problem. Allen sounds like a fan, not an analyst. He wants to believe, but belief doesn't beat brilliance. This isn't a fairy tale. This is boxing at its highest level.
Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter in boxing, period. Of this generation, what he's done at cruiserweight, what he's done at heavyweight, what he's done to all the other British fighters, to do the double over AJ, the double over.
Usyk is still Usyk, the uncrackable code, the puzzle no one solves. Dubois might have sharpened his tools, but Usyk brought the blueprint, and everything we've seen, heard, and dissected points in one direction. Oleksandr Usyk isn't just another fighter, he's an era-defining force, a surgeon in gloves, and the legends of the sport. Mayweather, Bellew, Smith, McKenzie, see it clearly. Dubois, he's a man with a mountain to climb and a storm to survive. If he wins, he rewrites his entire story. But if he falls again, the label of quitter won't just resurface. It will be etched into his legacy forever. So now the question remains, whose corner are you in? Team Usyk or Team Dubois? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just a rematch, it's a reckoning.